영트의 리액션.
와키자카 야스하루는 공을 독차지하기 위해 일본군을 기다리지 않고 자신의 휘하 73척의 함선을 이끌고 출항했다는 내용입니다.
I mean, why wait? He had 73 of the best ships in the Japanese fleet, and he knew Yi's armada, however devastating they might have been so far, was a small force.
두 번째 순서로 외국인이 만든 한산대첩 영상입니다. 외국인이 만들었기에 사실과 다른 점이 있을 수 있습니다. 또한 2차 재사용 규정으로 자막 중에 나레이션이 있습니다.
A small force.
But it had wiped out 2 Japanese fleets without losing a single ship. How arrogant do you have to be? Wait for the rest of the fleet.
But Yi hadn't been idle after his last battle. He'd been drilling his men in new tactics and constructing additional ships.
그렇게 하여 이순신의 함대는 56척이 되었고 거북선도 2척을 더 만들게 되었다는 내용입니다. 그리고 이 리액션 앞부분에 거북선에 대해 검색하는 게 있어 같이 편집했습니다.
So some of you mentioned that, hey, this is kind of like the precursor to ironclads, this turtle ship that's got this, I don't know what the armor was made of on the top, but I'm going to go ahead and assume it wasn't some kind of wood. In fact, I think we might have to look this up because I'm curious to know a little bit more about these turtle ships. So this is pretty cool. They've actually got some examples of them here. I'm going to drag this over to the side so you can see it a little better. They've got one that's actually restored that you can see. And this is really cool. And it is little iron spikes on top. They were definitely made of metal on the top. And here's the grave of Admiral Yi here. So that's pretty cool that you can go see that today. So it says, was the turtle ship really the world's first armored battleship? So yeah, it's kind of a gray area, obviously, because the sides of the ship were not armored. But the top certainly was. So that's pretty cool, fascinating.
With 2 new turtle ships he could bring to bear. On July 7th, 1592, a local farmer came to tell Yi that he had seen a huge Japanese armada, at least 70 ships strong, in the Kyonerang Strait.
이순신 장군님은 다음 날 함대를 견내량에 배치합니다.
Knowing that he couldn't maneuver in the strait, Yi sent out 6 of his ships to lure the Japanese. And sure enough, the entire Japanese force followed at all haste. But this time, the Japanese faced yet another surprise. This technique of luring out the Japanese had been working so well that Yi had trained his men in a special formation called the Crane's Wing, where they would form a U around the enemy vessels that chased his ships, compressing them from all sides, making...
Once again, the Japanese fall for a trick that Yi has laid before them. Sure, they had more ships, but Yi was waiting for them.
Compressing them from all sides, making them easy targets, and leaving them no room to maneuver. The Crane's Wing descended. The sound of cannon fire ripped the air. One of the largest naval battles in world history raged for hours.
한산도 대첩의 설명이 너무 짧아서 약간의 MSG를 첨가하겠습니다.
Oh, and it has the dragon head. Oh, wow. Haha!
Dang.
Take that! Wow.
Dang. Oh, damn. You guys are dead in the water. Oh my gosh.
Ah! Like a real turtle!
그렇게 적선에 구멍을 내고 나오는 머리.
That's going down.
Yeah, bye. Laters.
How do you lock it in place? That is some crazy, crazy design.
Well, I had a feeling that he would study like the real...
Not only the formation, but just all the details.
What the duties are.
Yeah, wow.
There's so many. Holy crap. Now, guys. Oh.
Shrapnel, shrapnel, shrapnel.
But like they still have momentum. They can still come at them.
Yeah, but you're messing all their people
So
up.
close.
What are you gonna do if you're full of shrapnel?
But they can still ruin their ships, no?
The cannons are for taking down the ships. The shrapnel's to destroy the enemy.
No, I understand that, but... Okay,
Yeah.
I guess it's working.
그리고 이걸 본 원균 장군은
Duh! That's what he's been trying to. That's what I was afraid of, that it could still hit them.
They'll be all right. Dang, dude, your whole fleet got decimated.
그렇게 이순신 장군은 완승을 하게 됩니다.
Raged for hours. But when the smoke cleared, 47 of the Japanese ships were sunk and 12 were captured. Only 14 of them escaped to the harbor at Busan. And still, not a single Korean ship was lost.
He is. He's playing on easy mode. He is playing on easy mode. He just took on a navy that had a fleet that had more ships than him. You saw what happened. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts.
Still, not a single Korean ship was lost. The next
Still, after this kind of a massive fleet coming towards them, ye still didn't lose a ship. This is too good to be true, man. But is it true, right? It's history. How is there no movie after this guy?
And still, not a single Korean ship was lost.
Jeez.
The next day, Yi was informed of the location of the other two admirals' fleets. They were anchored together at Angulpo. Yi saw the opportunity for a decisive blow, and so he set his vessels fresh off the last battle.
I mean, Yi's ratio of ships taken / destroyed to ships lost. My goodness. I mean, of course, it's incredible to win these battles, but doing it, a battle like that while losing 0 of your own ships, it's almost ridiculous, to be honest. It's almost unbelievable.
Towards another attack.
하지만 이번에는 그가 뭘 하든 일본군이 유인되지 않았다는 내용입니다.
So Yi sent his ships in small assault squads, using their superior range to hammer the largest of the Japanese ships, then moving clear so another squad could circle in and fire. The battle was long and bloody. Though still none of Yi's ships were sunk, between the action outside of Kyonerang and the Battle of Angulpo, hundreds of his sailors were wounded. It was the most damage the Japanese had done to Yi's fleet to date. But the majority of the Japanese fleet in the harbor was destroyed. Only a few ships remained, and these Yi ordered not to be touched, because many of the Japanese soldiers had fled to the nearby shore, and, as he said, many brigands escaped into the mountains where local inhabitants have taken refuge. If all the Japanese ships were to be burned, the brigands would massacre Korean citizens in revenge.
Very smart. You need to think about your enemy's mindset, and you need to anticipate their response to whatever you're going to do.
As he expected, instead of slaughtering the peasants in the hills, the Japanese boarded their remaining boats and slipped away in the night. 6 days later, upon hearing the news of these calamitous defeats, Hideyoshi ordered all offensive naval operations to cease.
그때부터 일본 해군은 부산으로 가는 통로만 지키게 됐었다는 내용입니다.
So, with one stroke, Yi destroyed all of Hideyoshi's hopes for invading China.
그리고 바다로 보급을 받을 수 없게 되면서 육지에 있는 일본군 역시 위태롭게 되었다는
The
내용입니다.
supply lines to the forces occupying Pyongyang were sorely stretched, and pursuing the Korean court any further became effectively impossible. Though the Korean army had been beaten on land time and time again, Yi had saved Korea. But the war wasn't over. Join us next time for Yi's attempt to land a finishing blow, treachery, and perhaps the greatest last stand in naval history.
So fascinating. I mean, this man he literally single-handedly changed the outcome of that war and probably the outcome of the nation for the foreseeable future. That's impressive stuff. To be able to pull off.
God, this was such a good video, man. I love this. Ye single-handedly stopped Japanese from invading China through Korea.
영트의 리액션